So, Hare Krishna, welcome. We got Carlos here. We were just talking with Evan about Marvel. You see, Evan's got his Marvel sweater on. Check it out. Look, show. He was working on. It's black. It's blurring it out. You got
There
to
we
show
go.
the. You got the Black Widow. He was working on the film set. Show him your chest logo there. There you go. He's got the Black Widow logo.
This was one of the gifts that all the crew got.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking about the tree of Idrisil. The tree of Idrisil is described in the first Thor movie, maybe a little bit in the second. And it's a description of the universe, which has higher, lower, and middle planetary systems. And there is, of course, if you see the Thor movie, there's the Rainbow Bridge, things like that, all these different elements. And there's a video on YouTube where this guy, he goes to a theme park in Thailand, that is dedicated to kind of the Asian Vedic description of not necessarily Indian, but it's the Thai version. And he brings out first of all, the theme park has all the same elements. There's the higher, lower, middle planetary systems. There's the Rainbow Bridge, and they actually have a bridge that you cross. On the bottom of the universe, there's either a snake, dragon, or fish, known as Ananta. But he in the video he puts all these slides of different artwork from completely unrelated ancient cultures. Like we're talking about South American culture, Native American culture, and they all have this exact same description. No, they describe they give the analogy like a tree, and higher, lower, middle planetary systems, and on the bottom there's this fish dragon or snake thing on the bottom. There's the higher planetary systems, and it's quite interesting because they're so far removed from each other. These cultures, and they all have these same descriptions of kind of describing what the universe is like. I tried to find the video. I can't find it. I don't know. I used to, if you typed in magnetic North Pole, it used to come up. I don't know. Now I'm getting a bunch of science stuff about the North Pole. So yeah, I'm scrolling, looking down, and wait. No. He had some video of Sadaputas also. Sadaputa is a devotee. He was a scientist, also a mathematician, and he wrote a lot of books about Vedic astronomy and things like that. A lot of different scientific works. And he did nice videos describing the Vedic description of the universe. Wait. No. Scrolling through and I'm not finding what I'm looking for. So it's all connected. So how are you, Dana Kay?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
How about you?
I'm all right. Going to New York on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Visit family.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And my mom has never been to New York, and it's my wife's side of the family's there. Some of my family on my dad's side that I'm not, that I don't know too well, they're also there in New York. But my mom's never been to New York, but she's also coming on the trip, so that's cool. Can't.
Okay, this is strange, but well, first of all, I've never been to New York, but I just passed a road sign that said New York. The road was actually called New York, so that's kind of weird. But that was funny. But
Yeah,
I've never been to New York either.
my friend was listening. My friend George, he was listening to Wisdom of Sages, and they were talking. Who was saying? Somebody was saying like, I think it was Kashtuba was saying to Raga, "Well, you've never seen Back to the Future or something like that." And at that moment, he's driving, and then he sees there's a DeLorean. There, the car from Back to the Future was right next to his car. He was like, "Ah!"
I do remember that. That was funny.
So I think this is our group. So we have a very famous verse today. This is kind of summing up the section, because the section, and we did speak about how this is already kind of heading into a different section, because this is describing those, starting with verse 13, we're kind of describing why those accept, why are there those who accept and those who reject Krishna, God, or Bhagavan. Why? But also this is, if you look at the previous verses, beginning with Bhumir, the earth, water, air, fire, air, mind, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are all describing the various energies. And this kind of sums it up, saying these are divine energies. And these are the energies of illusion, Gunamayi. And they're very difficult to overcome. And so this is kind of summing up that section, as in a sense that can be said to be summing up that section as well. Verse 12 also can be said to be summing up the 12, but even I think verse 14 as well. But it's a very famous verse. I was thinking maybe there's a website that says like, what are the verses, like how many times did Prabhupada quote this verse or that verse? And I don't know which, if there's a website like that. I think it might be on that Vedic Encyclopedia website, but this verse would definitely be high up there. So it's a very important verse, and chances are the more you read the Acharya's books or Srila Prabhupada's books, you'll just come across it a lot. So it won't, or even just listening to classes, maybe even in Wisdom of Sages too, though they may quote it. But it's something that you'll hear often, so that will make it easier to remember, because you'll come across it often. Carlos, how are you doing?
I'm good, Prabhu. How are you doing?
I see you're good. You're just right there on the water with your dog.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was getting something from my bag here.
Yeah,
That was a really pretty picture. I like that.
yeah, that looks great.
Oh yeah, that's we went to
Pretty
you
warm
guys
there
know
in
Niagara
Canada.
Falls.
Niagara
Sorry?
Falls.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was like, it looks pretty warm there for December.
No, that's on the very bottom of Niagara Falls, in the Canadian part of it, Niagara Falls.
Nice.
So
Is it cold there now?
oh yeah, it's really cold actually. It's like -2 Fahrenheit or Celsius, sorry. And we're going book distribution today.
Whoa, my God.
Yeah, it's 16.
Wow.
My God.
Actually, two people from the Wisdom of the Sages community in the Discord, they donated. They're kind of like sponsoring me to go out there and distribute some books. So I'm really thankful for them. Yeah, I forget their names by now, like at this moment, but I'm really thankful for them.
Nice.
That's really nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have any opportunity to connect with Anutama in Canada?
No, sorry, Prabhu. I haven't had the chance to be honest with you.
He was. I attended GBC College, which is kind of a ISKCON leadership course for about a year and a half, and he was one of the. So he lives up in that area.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
remember what city he lives in?
it's hard for me. He's like not far from, I guess, like the biggest temple he could go to is like Toronto,
Yeah.
but he's not there. He's like, in his own neighborhood. There's his own group of devotees there. He's with them, and he's not in a big populated area. It sounds like where you're at.
Okay, I'll contact him. I won't forget about that. You
And
send me.
he's a book distribution organizer.
Nice, nice.
And one little story about book distribution and the value of, if you can catch somebody has received some expert training, it can make a world of difference. And so I have a good friend named Jai Baladev. He was Bhakta Joe in our Portland temple, and he is a very sweet, very humble devotee, and he would go out in book distribution every day. We were brahmacharis, we were monks. We do it, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, in rain, sun, whatever the weather it is, austere service. And he was terrible at it. And he was a very nice devotee. He'd be like,
I'll show you guys really quickly here, just the outside of my window.
I see.
It's all snow, right? So it just snowed yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I was going to
Do you
say
like snow?
how hot it is here, but it's actually that cold now. What were you
Please
going to
tell
say?
me how hot it is. It'll make me feel better.
What were you saying, Dana?
I was asking Carlos if he likes the cold weather, if he likes the snow.
It's okay. I'm actually happy to live here because it gives me a lot of how do I say this? Like, I'm grateful to go through all the 4 seasons. I start to appreciate every single season for what it brings. The winter season, it brings a lot of, like, you stay inside the house, but then you start studying a lot, reading a lot, and kind of like going deep inside of your own mind and self. It has its own perks each season.
Nice. So, my friend Jai Baladev, he was distributing books for, I think it went on like that for more than a year. So it's not like he didn't have experience doing it. And it wasn't like, okay, he's, not connecting with Krishna. It was just, he was a very nice devotee. And he went to LA, and he learned from a devotee named Brigupati, a Prabhupada disciple, really tall, big bushy eyebrows, and very amazing devotee. And he went from, and it can be kind of, the tough part is when nobody's taking books from you. That's the tough part. You could be in the snow, and then your books are flying out. You're in ecstasy. And he went to becoming the best book distributor in the United States for like 6 months straight. He went from like $40 a day of books to $400 a day. And it was just, that training, I think it can make it, it can like really make the experience a lot easier. And you can do nice service. So yeah, if any opportunity you get to any training, it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. I see the devotees now that I don't think like, okay, there's a lot of full-time brahmacharis, not a lot, there's a little that do book distribution as a full-time service. And they do a lot more books. They distribute a lot more books than we did. Like, they'll go to college and distribute $500 worth of books one day, one person. And I would go, it would be like $120 $20 or $30 worth of book. $500. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of books, like 100 hardbound books in a day or something crazy, I thought I think it's two things. I think 10, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I think people are actually now a little bit more warmer up to, like, they're getting ready. And I think the devotees are just a little more expert in presenting it and doing book distribution. So
yeah, it's a little bit hard to do it here in Canada, like especially with this weather. It's not like you can set up tent or a table and just kind of sit out there in the cold. You have to, like, what I do is I have to walk along the main street here where I live. Not that many people, and who wants to go out in this type of weather? So less chance to distribute that many books. But
so what do you say? You got,
I'd be like, hey. No, I say
we call it a mantra, meaning like we have a general pattern, like you do a call or whatever. That way our brains aren't flipping out every time we speak to somebody, because we kind of know the steps we're walking through a little bit.
I was just gonna ask if there was a technique or like a way to go about it that made it.
I usually just I approach everyone by asking them just, do you like reading books? And if they say yes, then that gives me the chance to ask them the next question, which is, do you like are you into spirituality or these types of genres with books? Because I'm going on a book distribution and I'm handing out this copy of a book that's very very important to me, and it can and then I go on about the topic of it talks about soul, it talks about reincarnation, constitution of the soul in this universe, and karma, and all these other topics, and they're like, yeah, like interesting. Show them pictures sometimes.
There are some videos of Vaisheshika Prabhu, who you all probably seen many times. He does some videos on YouTube. There's one actually in Dallas a long time ago. I'm in it. I'm like super skinny. That's like 2006, where he's walking through people how to go through the steps. One thing I would suggest is to ask an open-ended question, because the mind is looking, if it's not like people know, okay, this person's probably going to like sell something, present something to me. And so our mind is figuring out some kind of defense to get out of the situation. And so if we ask an open-ended question, if we get a dialogue going, I don't know how rough it is there, but some places, not really Texas, but some places, if you ask a question where a person could say no or yes, then they're gone. If you ask a question where they have to like stop and think about it, then it's not a yes or no question. Then it opens up a dialogue, and that's when we begin to start. Hey, are you from here or out of town? You can't say yes or no. You got to like give some kind of response, isn't there? And another thing is, if you keep them on a positive line, then the brain starts throwing positive answers. So, have you ever heard of yoga before? Like, yeah, great. Yeah, it helps to get rid of stress and anxiety. Have you ever had stress?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, great. This is for you. Take one. We're the monks. We're showing everybody our books. You take it. Yeah, you can have it, whatever, but it can be formatted whatever way. 1 second. Let me just answer his phone up, because I have my Airbnb. I'm not sure if it's related to that. Hello?
Quick question, Carlos.
Hare Krishna. Can I call you back? I'm in the middle of a class. Thanks. Hare Krishna. Okay.
I had a question, Carlos. Do you give out the same book each time, or do you kind of talk to people and say, okay, well, maybe this book would interest you the most at the moment?
I'm actually starting to get the small Prabhupada books, and I have actually someone that just arrived where I live, who's actually very much into book distribution, and he plays the mridanga and everything like that. So we did that just a couple of weekends ago, and we're gonna do it again today. So he's the one that kind of is an expert at handing out those small books that are more particular, let's say with diet or like just a topic of reincarnation, and that you guys know about these books, right? So I haven't done that myself. I always give out the Gita, softbound and hard copies or hardbound. But yeah, I'm looking forward to actually getting some packages of the small ones, because I just contacted someone who's going to give them to me tomorrow.
If you look at the devotees, and in New York and Atlanta, they're kind of catching on to something that devotees in Europe have been more successful in doing. And in America, we're kind of been like, it's like we give one person one book, and then we walk away. There was one devotee, just to prove a point to the other devotees, he spent the entire day, as soon as one person walked away with one book, he would go and talk to that person, and the person would walk away with 4 other books. And so, you know what they do it in Atlanta, and they actually wrap them in a nice bow, and they present them as a set. And if you go to Instagram and type in like Krishna Atlanta or something, you'll see like hundreds of people all day long. They walking away, like you'll see like 5 people, and each of them have a stack of like 5, 6, 7 books. You can present each book and try to give a special value. But if you like wrap it up, it's a nice thing.
So his name is Paramahansa Prabhu, the person who's coming with me today. He also said that he has some gift bags that are perfect for the season, and so we have like those as well, I guess, for today. Okay. It'll be a special day for sure.
Nice. And all these this is like a special season for book distribution.
Thank you for the suggestion about the open-ended questions, by the way, Prabhu. I really take that.
Yeah, I don't know how much here in Texas, it's easy to talk to strangers. It's a real easy thing. But I lived in Portland, and that was like half of the time was just trying to get in a conversation with somebody. It's like very impersonal. It was like they're more tougher than like New Yorkers in the sense of like they're just so impersonal and like in their like their little worlds.
Actually, yeah, here as well. Yeah, sometimes it is very tough to get these conversations going, just because people are just going somewhere always, right? And it's not like they're just walking around in the in that main street.
So I avoid a question that they would answer no to, or the open-ended question. The first question could be open-ended, and avoid a question that that they could just that as soon as they give you the answer, then they can just walk away. It's like something that they have to, for just that few milliseconds longer of, oh, I'm from here, blah blah blah. And also I learned one thing. I lived here. When you live in a particular place, you develop like the atmosphere of a place. You pick up on the conditionings of the place. Like I lived in Tennessee, and then we would go from Tennessee to New York, and we would go to Tennessee. We'd be like, we would like be a New Yorker, and we would have like this overbearing energy, and people like, ah. And then we would go back to New York after being in Tennessee, and we'd be like, excuse me, ma'am. We'd be like, and we would just get run over. So being in Dallas for a couple of years, I always, whenever I go to New York to visit, I like to do book distribution just for fun, just to join the devotees there and help out a little bit. And so I was out there, and I said, excuse me, sir, like a good Texan, to like 300 people, and nobody would talk to me. And so I went to the temple, Bhakti Center, and I spoke to two devotees, one named Vasudev, and I said, they both gave me different advices. How do I, like, I don't even know what I'm doing wrong. I can't even get anybody to talk to me. And he said, oh, you gotta like shake their hand. You gotta go up and like, it's like, you know, when you see like a fighter jet, like lock, yeah, like an opportune moment, just go and shake their hand. Shaking your hand is a little bit of a submissive thing. It's like you're extending yourself, and nobody goes and like shakes your hand and walks away. They say, hey, how's it going, or something. Like like you say, hey, how's it going? We're showing everybody our books. You know, we're volunteers or whatever you want to say, and hand them the book. Put the book in their hand. That's an important thing. Let them hold it. Things like that. All right, that's a good squirrel. Now let's get on to our Daiviyesha Gunamai. Mama Maya Dratya Mameviye Prapadyante Mai Etam Tarantite. So in this verse, this is Krishna saying that this energy it's divine. It is my energy. The word Daivi is divine. Daivi. Dana K, can you say that? Daivi.
Divey. Is that right?
Daivi, yeah.
Divey.
And it's guna. These are the gunas, the three modes of nature. And remember, we went over this in the last class. We discussed the different elements of the three modes of nature. And there is a secondary meaning of the word guna. Does anybody know what the secondary meaning of the word guna is?
No.
Rope.
I remember that now.
Mode of goodness is like being tied with one rope. Mode of passions, 2 rope. And mode of ignorance, 3 ropes. And it's described here, I think it was Baladev Vibhushan, that it's like a rope that's tied in such a crazy expert knot. Nobody can figure out how to untie it. It's like impossible to untie. So it's Duratyaya. Dura means like difficult. So it's Duratya. It is very difficult to overcome. So these ropes of Maya, of illusion, that are Krishna's. Why is it? I remember we read in the previous verse, we read about there is a superior energy. Aparayamatastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabhaho yayadam dharyate jagat. Before that was the Bhumir Apo Nalo Vayu Kam Manarbhudir Evacha Ahankara Iti Yame Bina Prakritir Ashtada. Those are considered the inferior, and the soul is considered superior. So how is the inferior controlling the superior? Because the inferior is acting under the direction of Bhagavan. It's his prakriti. And it is great. The soul is, insignificant, very small. And this energy being directed by the Supreme, it is Duratya, very difficult to Mama Maya, my energy. Duratyaya, very difficult to overcome. Impossible to overcome. Who does anybody know which demigoddess is the symbol of the material universe, material nature? She carries a trishul. She carries a trident. Trishul.
I think I know, but I just I can't. Isn't it Kali? Durga?
Kali. Durga. What does dur mean?
Hard. I don't know.
Hard, difficult. Ga means gachati, going. Very difficult. She makes it very difficult. Your freedom. She is called the superintendent of the prison of the material universe. And how many arms does she have? 2? No, okay. Many arms, like hundreds of arms. I don't know. It could be 100, sometimes maybe more sometimes. At least like, at the very least, like 20, just on a slow day. So you got your 2 arms, and you're trying to overcome Durga. Not going to happen, you know. Not going to happen. She is still well equipped, and we're not well equipped on our own. And she is Krishna's servant, so she can, as we see, she can back off. She can leave us alone. Mama eva ye prapadyante. When we have that prapadyante, when we surrender to Krishna, then she can leave us alone. Prapadyante. Everyone listen. Prapadyante. Let's surrender. Prapadyante. Evan Lewis, let's see your prapadyante. Prapadyante. Bow your
Prapadyante.
Prapadyante. Or we can be like Draupadi. You know Draupadi? Dana K, do you know who is Draupadi?
Oh, hey, Govinda. I just listened to this song.
Yeah, that's how I know it too.
Yes,
With
yes.
the sari that they were trying to pull off of her, and then she was just like, and she put her arms up. I'm totally probably butchering that story, but
No, that's it. But then she asked Krishna, like, I was calling you, but you didn't come to the very end. And do you know what he said? So first she was like, hey, Govinda, and she was holding onto her sari. And then she was like, hey, Govinda, still holding on with one arm. And then when she put both her arms up, saying like, you know, I need your help, really. He said, well, it looked like you had it taken care of. Like you were doing it yourself. So I didn't come right away. But when she put her arms up, hey, Govinda, then he's okay. I see now you need me. There I'll come.
oh, I love that. That really resonated with me.
Yeah.
I
So
just
yeah,
listened
we're
to that
like this
story.
a lot. Hey, Govinda, holding on though. I got it under control, Krishna, but I'm calling for you. You're like, oh, he's like, I'll wait till you. Or another thing, this is a separate thing, but it's I like this one is when we're if Evan, if I tell you, I want to go outside, I want to be inside, I want a motorcycle, I want to go to sleep, I want ice cream, I don't like anything sweet, I want to play, I want to finish my homework. Would you have any understanding what's going on?
I'll be like, you don't know what you want.
And you wouldn't be able to give it whatever I want because I'm all over the place. And so that's us with Krishna. He's like, I don't know, but if we're like, I want you, Krishna, I want you, Krishna, I want you, Krishna, I want you, Krishna. It's like, oh, okay, I see what you want. But we're like, I want you, Krishna, but I want this, I want that. We're like, our minds are,
Yeah.
I want Krishna, but I want Maya. I want Krishna, I want Maya, but I want this, I want that. So we're like a kid that's saying completely all different things randomly that don't make any sense. But Draupadi, she was like, hey, Govinda, like completely. So Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi. Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Mama Maya. What does mama mean, Dana?
Mai?
Maya.
Right?
Mama, Maya, Dharataya. Mameva ye prapadyante. So this is Acharyas, this is they're repeating what Krishna is saying. They say, here Krishna says, Mam Eva, me certainly. This means not Lord Shiva, not Lord Brahma. Lord Shiva is involved in the gunas. It takes lordship over the mode of ignorance and is slightly touched by that influence. Brahma, he's responsible for the mode of passion and he's slightly touched by that influence. So Mama Eva ye prapadyante. Mama Eva, me certainly, just to me. Where I was just reading, let me see. Where do I wanted to read the notes that we sent out. Okay, this is from who's this? Baladev Vidyabhushan. This is just in the middle of it. Okay, I'll just read the commentary. I'll read the translation, how he gives it. My Maya, made of the gunas, fit for the jiva's pleasure, is hard to surpass. But those who surrender to me alone can cross over this Maya. It is very difficult to destroy the bewilderment caused by the three modes, since Maya, from which the gunas arise, is eternal. That's the question that's brought up. This is very astonishing. Extraordinary Maya belongs to me, the Lord of all things, the creator of unlimited universes full of inconceivable variety. Maya is called astonishing because it's an instrument in creation of the astonishing, variegated, countless universes. The Shruti says, Maya tu prakritim vidvan, mayinam tu maheshwaram. One should know that Prakriti or Maya and its master, the great Lord. So this is here, it's saying that Krishna is the master of Maya. This Maya is made of three gunas, gunamayi, and it is like a rope, guna, made of three strands, because it binds the jivas very tightly. Therefore, it is very hard for the jivas to overcome Dhirajaya. In terms of the analogy of the rope this rope is impossible to untie. But through Maya, though Maya is such, it can be destroyed by devotion to me. I'm the Lord of all things, the controller of Maya, the ocean of affection for those, and the ocean affection of affection for those surrendered to me. Those who surrender unto me, Krishna, through the association with my devotees, cross this Maya, unsurpassable like an ocean with no effort, as if there were a puddle of water left by the hoof print of a cow. That's a famous verse. That I think that's from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad or somewhere. That verse, it's going to be somewhere else in one of the purports in the Bhagavad Gītā. It says that the material energy is like an ocean, but as soon as you surrender to Krishna, it shrinks so small to the little puddle that is made from the hoof print of a calf. You can imagine like the calf's hoof print of the water that would be inside the footprint. You can easily step beyond that. So when you surrender to Krishna, the ocean shrinks, as if there were a puddle left in the hoof print of a cow. Having crossed the ocean of Maya, they attain me, their master, who am inclined to give them mercy. And I'm filled with bliss. The word Eva only indicates that they cannot cross over Maya by surrendering to others, such as Brahma or Shiva. The Shruti similarly says, Tam Eva viditva ati mritum eti. Only by knowing him, Krishna, one can surpass death. Similarly, the demigods, the devas, say to Muchukunda, And I'm not going to read all the Sanskrit. All good fortune to you. Now, please choose a benediction from us. Anything but liberation, since only the infallible Supreme Lord Vishnu can bestow that. Oh, Muchukunda, that's in Krishna book. That's in 10th canto. Muchukunda was a powerful king. He was a human, but he was so powerful that the demigods sought his help in fighting some battle. And so he fought with the demigod. He fought on in their army for hundreds of years. And he was the time before Krishna's time, the previous yuga before Krishna's time. So previous yuga people were also just like Dwarpa Yuga, people lived longer and were even larger than in Kali Yuga. And the Treta Yuga before that, people also lived even longer and they were even taller. And so he fought and he fought and he fought and he fought. And then the demigods told him, choose a benediction from us. Anything but liberation, because only God can give you that. We can't do that. So that's the point that Baladev Vidyabhushan is drawing on that point. Quoting from the Bhagavatam here, Bhagavatam says the same thing. Only God can give you liberation, not the demigods. And he says, oh, I just want to sleep. I'm just tired. I wanted to sleep like for thousands of years. Just want to sleep. Yeah. And if anybody wakes me up, I want to be able to like burn them with my eyes. Laser eyes. Yeah. And so you might have heard some of this pastime. I heard it was maybe like 30, 40 episodes ago. They talked about Krishna, Ranchor. Krishna, the one who ran away from the battle. He's also opulence of being renounced, just not caring. And so there was a great demon name. What's his name? It's something like Yaksh. What is it? I can't remember his name. He was kind of some kind of uncivilized. He wasn't like a real Kshatriya. He was like a kind of barbarian that surrounded Krishna's city. And Krishna came out, and a lot of times Krishna, like for Jarasandha, Krishna would come out by himself and just like destroy the entire army by himself. And because one of Krishna's purposes was to reduce the population of these very powerful demonic warriors who have basically invaded planet Earth. And one of them was Jarasandha, and he would leave him behind, and he would destroy his entire army, fight him and destroy all of them. And then he would go back home all dejected, and one of his friends would say, man, you just got to think positive. Got to think positive. And he would be like, you're right. He goes back out there, he gathers another giant group of evil warriors, and then comes again. He did that 18 times. And it was actually Bhima that finally fought. He wasn't Krishna never killed Jarasandha. It was Bhima in the wrestling match. But I'm forgetting this other guy's name. So Krishna walks out and just like walks past him. He's like, where are you going? Come back here, you coward. Where are you going? And Krishna's like just walking, strolling, and the guy starts running after Krishna. And it's such a frustrating thing because Krishna's like strolling and the guy's like running and he just can't catch Krishna. And Krishna's just walking. It doesn't matter how fast the guy runs, he just can't catch Krishna. He's just strolling nice. And then he goes into this cave. And the guy sees somebody laying on the ground, but it's actually Muchukunda who just offered that benediction. Anybody who wakes me up, You know? So he goes over and kicks the guy. And the guy turns around and burns him with his eye. And then he sees Krishna. He's like, oh, you must be my Lord. And he offers his prayers and such. That's in Krishna book. Great book to read every night. So, and then Shiva says, this is another, this is from the Padma Purana. This is the same purport by Baladevi Vibhushan. Mukti Pradhata. Remember, what does dar mean? Da. The da. Dar. Carlos, dar.
In Spanish, it means to give.
Yes, in Sanskrit, it means to give. Da is like Narada. Kirti da. Yashoda. Yashoda, Yasha means fame. She who gives or brings fame to this world by bringing Krishna to this world. So the da is the giving. Pradata, mukti pradata, sarve sham, sarva, Vishnu eva, na shamshaya. What is shamshaya? Does anybody write that one? No doubt. Without a doubt, na shamshaya. So you guys are like learning all the Sanskrit. Mukti pradata sarvesham. Vishnu alone gives a liberation to all. God
it's in
alone.
verse 1, isn't it?
Huh?
It's verse 1, isn't it? The Asam Shayam.
Shamshayam, yes, Shamshaya, yes, yeah. Samagamam, kita getchishitachino. Yeah, see? So you can understand a lot of these verses now with grammar. You can piece some things together. Okay. So the second half of the verse is the revelation. As I mentioned before, oftentimes in Sanskrit, what is more common Vedic knowledge is expressed, and then revelation, what's less common Vedic knowledge, which is more guyatamam, very secret, is revealed in the second half of the verse. So material energy is very difficult to overcome. A lot of Vedic literature will talk about that. But the revelation, but if you surrender unto me, very easy, very difficult, but very easy. My etam taranti te. They overcome. Just overcome it. Dun, dun, dun. So, Daiviyesha Gunamayi. Mama Maya Durachaya. Mama Eveye Prapajante. Mayam etam taranti te. Devi yesha gunamayi. Mama maya durachaya. Mameva ye prapadyante. Prapadyante. You got that word, Dana K? Prapadyante?
I will have to say that one's tripping me up.
Yeah. Prapadyante. Prapadyante.
Prapadyante.
Prapadyante. Mayam etam taranti te. Devi Yesha Gunamayi. Mama Maya Duratyaya. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Mayam etam taranti te. Okay, somebody else do the chanting. I'm going to grab a little glass of water.
Okay. Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi
Daivi Yesha Gunamaye
Mama Maya Duratyaya
Mama Maya Durantyaya
Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante
Mamevyaye Prapadyante
Mayam Etam Tarantite.
Mayam Etam Tarantite.
And this is the lesson we learn on book distribution. Although the techniques can be helpful, best technique is, of course, surrender unto Krishna. And then everything becomes easily crossed beyond material energy. Actually, that's the blissful. There's no the book distribution is a really exceptional service because there's a lot of services that create a humble mood, but a lot of times they lack the desperation that book distribution produces. Because you could be like, I got this, look into this sunset like a hero, and then you go out there and Krishna shows you, no, this is not about you. It's not about you and your divine energies. You're not God. And nothing works. You could be like, man, I used to do sales. I used to work for this company, blah, blah, blah. No, not working. You really have to be asking for Krishna's help. Basically, you just got to get out of the way. I mean, techniques can be helpful, just like to learn how to talk to people. We're not just meant to like stand in a corner and like shine our effulgence like Lord Chaitanya. Like, it's those can be helpful, but the constant lesson that we learn in book distribution is that we rely on Krishna, and then you see the magic of Krishna's reciprocation, and it produces a lot of faith. That service produces a lot of faith because you experience reciprocation with Krishna. You experience that a lot. I remember I was at the Oregon Country Fair, which is kind of like the Rainbow Gathering. It's there's it's topless people and all kinds of. It's except for Rainbow Gathering, nobody has money, so you're not going to do book distribution at the Rainbow Gathering unless you're like, you're going to accept candy bars as an exchange or something, because nobody has money, or weed or whatever they're going to exchange. Oregon Country Fair is like a big hippie gathering, and we would do massive amount of books. That was they would park the cars in like rows in a huge field, and we would fill up our backpacks, like 50 hardbound books in a backpack, and run from car to car. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Here were the monks, and we. And everybody would hand us like, $5, $10, $20, and we'd run to the next car. And we meet all kinds of people. I remember I met this lady, and she just seemed like totally not interested. And I just thought, okay, like the super soul's there. I just saw like, hey, Vishnu. I was like, I know you're in there. please help me out. And she was like, okay. And she was like, whoa. It was like such a switch when I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, Vishnu, you're in there, please help me out. You're in their heart, please enter in. And then immediately like this total switch of mood just happened. I was like, what? Whoa. So there's all kinds of magical things that happen because you become like Draupadi. You really come to the point where it's a little of this, then a little of this, and then it's like, ow. So that's the special part of and what did we say? What is the best gift? Remember? Wisdom of the Sages, just a few episodes ago. Hito Padesh. What is the best gift? Come on, Eben. Best gift can't be stolen.
Knowledge.
Knowledge, yes. Not
I was like,
Vidya.
I haven't listened to a few recently, have missed it. No, but yes.
Yeah, knowledge is the best gift. It is, it can't be stolen. They said, well, there was two brothers. They went and one went to a gurukul and the other one learned from an apprentice. And they went back home to share their wealth with their family. And the one who had all his money, he was robbed by they both went back home. They were robbed by some robbers. He lost all the money that he made learning from the apprentice. And the other one had books. They didn't care about the books, and he also had the knowledge that he retained in the books. So it can't be stolen. And the more you give it, the more you get it. And and it's a good gift. So when we give people these books, it really opens the door to stopping the miserable condition of material existence. It really opens the door. And of course, we mentioned this word before. I think maybe it was in the sage groups, but I think it was here. Agyata Sukriti, unknowingly performing devotional deeds. I think we did on the WhatsApp chat. Agyata Sukriti, unknown. So even if the person doesn't read it, they give it to somebody else. I met so many people, they're devotees because their friend got the book. It wasn't them that they didn't purchase the book. It was their friend. Like my one devotee, Prabhupada disciple, he went through various stages of spiritual transformation. He went to like a Catholic boarding school. He was studying to become like a priest, but then his brother had like brain cancer and his head was getting opened up and so many times, and he asked the priest, so why is God doing this? What's happening? And he said, perhaps he wanted to manifest the sufferings of Jesus in your brother. He said, to whose benefit? He was like, I'm an atheist. Like, I don't believe it, because he just had these questions and he couldn't get an answer. Why is this happening? And then he came across Buddhism, and it was like the concepts of karma and reincarnation. And then he came into like kind of personal Vedanta kind of stuff like that. But he still wasn't fully satisfied. So sometimes, as we said, sometimes little kids will say amazing things. And so he had a nephew or a niece would sometimes say something like really like, what? Like, so one day his nephew, he was in the room and his nephew said, your friend is coming and he has something very special for you. And he said, what? How do you know? And he looked out the window. He said, how do you know that? So he just started walking down the street. And then as he got down, then he started to see his friend. He was definitely not an invisible path, but his friend, he said, you're coming to see me. He said, how do you know? He said, well, my nephew told me that you're coming. He said, how did he know? He said, I don't know. He said, you have something for me? He said, Yeah, why do you call it creepy? He said, yeah. In fact, I do. There were some of these monks downtown, and I got this book. I thought this was something you'd be into. He said, yeah. And so it was the Ishopanishad. He took the book home. He read it in one night. He packed his bags in the morning and left. Took a train to this is in Germany, to the nearest temple, was shaved up as a monk, and was on the street with the book that afternoon. So it can help people find the questions and answers that they're looking for. So knowledge is the best gift, and help people to overcome this material influence. How do they easily overcome the material influence, Carlos?
By chanting the holy names.
Okay, and according to this verse, how do they easily overcome this material influence?
By knowledge, surrendering.
Prapadyante. Put those arms in the air, like you just do care about Krishna. So, my etam tarantite, then it becomes easily. You just overcome it. Mameva ye prapadyante, but those who means those who, mameva, but prapadyante, those who surrender unto me, mameva, certainly, just me. My tam tarantite, they cross beyond this. Any last reflections, comments? Or
This was a great class. Very good. Even some, you might call them squirrels, but they were really helpful, and they really resonated. So thank you.
Thank you. So we'll give our prayers to Carlos on his nice service today. May you achieve all success. Help some people. And it's different from a lot of other religious outreach in the sense that we're not forcing anything. We're just like, you take it. What is that it's from it's from a movie. Hare Krishna movie. Take it's from a movie, and it's an old, what's that? I think of an old Jewish director, made a lot of films.
Martin Scorsese. No?
And I think a New Yorker kind of.
Yeah. What's the film?
I can't remember, but a lot of times he's in his films too.
Oh, Alfred Hitchcock?
Not that old.
Oh.
There's a scene where he's on there's a guy, and he's showing him it's a devotee showing
Mel Brooks?
Where is that scene?
Is it Mel Brooks?
No, I don't think so.
Hare
Krishna, there's actually a whole there's like a YouTube channel called Hare Krishna's in the Movies. Is it this one? Daddy. No.
Ben Kingsley, is it?
What?
Is it Ben Kingsley?
No.
Is he Jewish? I don't know.
I'm guessing he's Jewish.
What kind of time period?
It's like 70s.
70s. And what's the film about?
I have no idea. I just remember the scene is he's at a fence, and the devotee's showing him a book, and he's like, he's basically says, you take it home and you read it and just kind of like you digest it, and you kind of like it's basically saying like, we're not asking you to believe it. You take it home and you see what you think of it. I don't know. Have you ever seen Krishna Cop with Jim Carrey? Look that one up. Krishna Cop. Jim Carrey. It's Saturday night, or not Saturday night. It was, or maybe it was like Living Color. The skit from Living Color. Sort by most popular. Never mind. All right. But the idea is like it's a nice way because people can make up their own. They can take a book home.
I just saw the first 20 seconds of that Krishna Cop. It looks pretty hilarious.
Or in the Muppets, it says he's on the boat. Kermit's on the boat. No, there's this guy, fisherman in the boat, and he says, and Kermit's sitting on a rock in the original Muppets movie, and he's playing a banjo, and the guy says, "I'm lost," and Kermit says, "Have you tried Hare Krishna?"
That's a good one.
I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Woody Allen. Here. Here. Here, let me see. Maybe I can share the screen. And we'll stop. Okay, screen share. I don't know how if it's not working very good, just let me know. If it's here, wait, let me share sound. Optimize for video clip share.
I can't fathom my own heart.
What makes you interested in becoming a Hare Krishna?
Well, I'm not saying that I want to join or anything, but I know you guys believe in reincarnation, so it interests me.
Yeah, well, what's your religion?
Well, I was born Jewish, but last winter I tried to become a Catholic, and it didn't work for me. I studied and I tried and I gave it everything, but Catholicism for me was die now, pay later, and I just couldn't get with it, and I wanted to.
You're afraid of dying?
Well, yeah, naturally, aren't you? Let me ask you, in reincarnation, does that mean my soul would pass to another human being, or would I come back as a moose or an aardvark or something?
Take our literature, read it over, and think about it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hare Krishna.
Who are you kidding? You're gonna be a Krishna? You're gonna shave your head and put on robes and dance around at airports? You look like Jerry Lewis. God, I'm so depressed.
There you go. So take our literature, think it over for yourself. That was a funny clip. All right.
That's good.
And you don't have to shave your head and dance at the airport, but you can if you want. Back then, basically, everybody is like 98% of people were devotees, lived like as monks in temples. Not necessary for everyone.
Prabhu, I have a question. So open-ended questions, especially when you're just coming up to, strangers, whatever, people on the street. How would you? I guess Evan was saying.
What town are you in?
Waterloo.
So are you from Waterloo or out of town?
Oh, so you would say that?
Yeah, just go up. Hey, you from Waterloo or out of town?
Okay.
And then whatever they answer, it's called a qualifier. Like a qualifier means whatever they answer, you're the person. Great. Here, like you're who I'm looking for. You're from out of town. Great. You're from Waterloo. Great. It's like, oh, you're looking for. It's like, it's funny. We have this. The best one is if I did book distribution for years, but I was always afraid of the idea of doing it door to door. I was like, man, that sounds terrible, man. And then I did it here in Dallas, and it was wonderful, actually. But my favorite question to ask is, do you live here? When you knock on your door, hey, do you live here? It's like,
That was good.
and whatever their answer to, it's like the qualifier. Oh, they say yes. Oh, great. Here, it's just for you. And handshake, put the book in their hand. You can even put the book in their hand and like take it back, open up to a picture and put it back, and they kind of like, oh, give it back to me. It's mine. It's mine. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is great.
All right.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna. Hare
Om Tat Sat.
Yeah.